科右中旗位于内蒙古兴安盟最南端，俯瞰云下的世界，轮廓线条的背后，解码了长生天造物的秘密。山地、沙漠、平原，在半径18公里网状带上卓越组合。这里保存着亚洲最大的树林草
here we
原，
can see the mountains region,
丰富紧
desert
凑的
and the
旅游
plains.
资源，自
And
然
also we
分成为
have
草
the
原风光
largest
的
savanna
境
in Asia. We have
科右
abundant
中旗
natural
是国
resources
家
and
级重点
grassland.
生态功能区，这里特殊
In
的
the
面
Horqin
貌
Right Middle
让你
Banner,
重
it is
新
also
定义
a
草
important
原气质
ecological functional
这里
regions in
顺
China.
达的交通
And you can
可以用
redefine
时
the
间丈
definition
量
of grassland
草
here.
原
And also we have convenient
这里
transportation
是
here
你
to bring you
重建
closer
草
to the
原的
grassland.
首选。
This is the perfect place for you to take a first visit to the prairie.
科尔沁是蒙古语，意为神箭手。这里曾是成吉思汗分
Horqin
给
is actually
神箭手
Mongol. It
哈
means the
布哈
finest
萨尔
archer.
的神圣领地。
This is the place that's been
哈布
given
哈萨
by
尔
the
是成吉思汗
Genghis
的
Khan
二
to
弟
his brother.
是他得以取天下的
So
守
his
宫
brother is
人。
actually one of the
是科
heroes
尔沁部
who
的始祖
provides support to
一
Genghis
声
Khan
呼
to
叫
conquer the
金色
world.
弓箭拉响日月长河。
With
人
the
们把
bow
科尔
and
沁右
arrow,
翼中旗誉为
you
神
can
箭
see
手的
review the
象。
battlefield back in the old days. That's why people
借
are
助
calling
顺
the
时
Horqin
光而
Right
来
Middle
的
Banner
小
is the
箭，
home
邂
to
逅
all
一
of
位
the
盛
finest
装
archers.
策马的公主。1645年，神箭手的
There is a
20世
legend
孙
that
不是
with
也
the
从
sound of
扎
the
萨克
arrow, a
进马，
prince will
在
met
这
a
里迎
princess.
娶了清朝皇帝皇太极
So
之
one of the prince here actually married one of the daughter from a emperor from Qing dynasty.
你看是水墨，我看是丹青，坐上了车就会入仙境。
当五角峰与草原相遇，100万亩的夺目繁华。
In this place, you could see the asamoners in the forest, and also you see the beautiful scenery in this area.
"各位，欢迎来到镜头中的脱贫故事，关注镜头中的脱贫故事。我是中央
Dear
广播电视
viewers,
总台的
welcome
主
to
持
our
人张宝
camera
东。
to focus on the story of the poverty alleviation. I'm the anchor Zhang Baodong from CMG, and today we are at the Horqin Right Middle Banner from Inner Mongolia, and we will take you to the charm of this place. And for our program, we used to visit Shanxi and Tibet, and today we are coming to Inner Mongolia to bring you the unique charm of this area. So today we are at the Prince Tushuyatu house, and we have just enjoyed the dance and the songs. Probably you can already feel the enthusiasm of the local people here, and pretty soon we'll bring you more coverage about today's program. And today we can see there are a lot of excellent things happening in Horqin Right Middle Banner. This is because we have a special project happening here, and also we have a lot of desertification projects here. In 2018, we have a ant forest project, which is used to conduct the desertification project. And pretty soon, we will have more projects coming up. That's why we have a very beautiful scenery here. And we will start the show pretty soon. Now I would like to introduce a special guest. The first one is a bank from ABC, Party Secretary Mr. Zhang from Inner Mongolia. Good afternoon, everyone. And the State Road Party Secretary Mr. Lai from Inner Mongolia. Good afternoon, everyone. And also have a Nationality University of Inner Mongolia, Mr. Huo, Professor Huo. Good afternoon, everyone. And also we have a Deputy Party Secretary of the Horqin Right Middle Banner government. Good afternoon, everyone. So today we are bringing you the live coverage from Inner Mongolia. And today we have a storyteller, and also some people will participate in the show to talk about their stories about the poverty alleviation. So let's bring in to our first guest, Professor Huo. Please have a seat. So as a person who recommends the story, so what kind of story you want to tell us? So I'm a professor and a teacher from the Inner Mongolia University. So I would like to recommend a story in relation to the cattle raising. So, wow, that's quite interesting. So let's see what is the story. I'm the storyteller, Gao Guangze, and as you can see where, you may probably have a guess where I am right now. So I'm actually at the administrative village, and now you could see there's a performance going on. It is a performance from a local government, and you could see there are many volunteers. These people are local CPC members. They're serving the last mile for the poverty alleviation. So let's take a look at the performance. So now you could see this is actually a special vehicle who carry all of those volunteers, and also we have some tech delegates who are coming to the village. So what does that mean? Can you give us some interpretation about the title? We are actually coming here for targeted poverty alleviation. We would like to teach some of the farmers of the cutting-edge technologies. And these people can learn the skills and techniques, and then they can resolve some of their daily problems. So do you feel there may be some challenges? Yes, at the beginning we do feel there were some challenges, but now after a few days when I'm staying here, we think there were many unique advantages in this region. We're pretty much confident about helping out with the farmers. So for our projects, we will help the farmers to raise the cattle and to improve the breeds, because we do see the natural resources is quite good here. So the most important thing for us that we can produce high quality beef, and then we can bring those beef back to town and increase the income and earnings for the farmers who are living here. So we want to set up a factory here, so we can accommodate the slaughtering for around 100,000 cattle. And also we want to build a husbandry farms in this area, and the purpose is to help the farmers and to raise the revenue and income for those people. And also we will want to help around like 10,000 households to go prosperity. All right, thank you so much for introduction. Well, we could see they have a slogan here. They would just want to help these people out of poverty through cattle raising. And we could see here we have a convenience stop. So what is the objective for this convenience stop? So we are actually helping the farmers to improve their skills in raising the cattle. We want them to get rid of those traditional and conventional way of raising the cattle. And we can build a modernized cattle farm to improve the quality of the beef. So you could see you have a service card. Can you give us some introduction about this card? So for each one of the farmer, if they get this service card, so they understand what services that we can provide. And if they have any problems, any questions, they can come to us. We will give them some tutoring for free, and also we will address some of the problems during the cattle raising. So this can help them to increase their income and revenue. So you're not a local person, right? Yes. So actually our team is coming all the way from Shandong province. We have been here for over 1 year. And within 1 year, we can see that here we have a very solid foundation to raise cattle. And we will focus the unique strategies and positioning in these areas. So we want the farmers to raise more cattle so they can get more income out of the cattle raising. So from the Shandong province, we have like 10 people, more than 10 people from Shandong province coming here, focusing on different sectors in raising the cattle. So we just want to raise more healthy cattle from this area. So what is the mission? Do you have any future plan for the cattle raising? So this time we would like to design a plan for the Right Middle Banner for Horqin. So by next year or 2021, we would like to have a capacity of raising 20,000 to 30,000 cattle in this area. And we will want to further develop the market here because we do see huge potential in this area. And going forward, we would like to further develop the market and provide more convenient transaction between the farmers and people who are living out of this area so that we can increase the income for the farmers who are living here. And then these people can live a prosperous life as soon as possible. So as you could see, these people just help the farmers here get rich. So this is the story. Thank you.
谢谢广德刚才给我们带来的这样的精彩的讲述。不知道那一端在关注的你，平时有没有见到过真实的养牛场？
for this story.
不知道你有没有意识到牛或者说牛产业。
So on the other side, I want to ask a question whether you have been to a real cattle raising farm, because we do see the significance of cattle and beef in our daily life. Professor Ho, I would like to ask you a question. Why do you want to recommend this story to others? For the Horqin Right Middle Banner, we have very unique geographical condition. It is perfect for animal raising, the cattle raising. We have grass and also we have crops. And in the cattle raising industry, it is a traditional husbandry industry in Inner Mongolia. Also, the industry of husbandry can bring more households out of poverty. People who are living here can run a commercialized cattle raising farm. It is very important for us to get out of poverty by developing this industry. So first, I think the local government should provide more policy measure support for the cattle raising, especially provide more subsidies to the households. And also we want the bank to provide some loans to the cattle raising households. At the same time, we think a convenient transaction platform is also essential to develop this industry. So that is to say, our farmers, our herdsmen can get support from fund as well as from the policies. And we hope the value of the cattle can be increased in the future. It can help the impoverished households out of poverty and step into a prosperous life. And we think the cattle raising industry is quite essential in the local area. We have very good grass and also natural resources, and also a very good weather condition. I believe for the animals that are raised here will be endowed with a significant value. And in the future, we would like to increase the unit capacity for each one of the cattle, and also we want to have a better quality of the meat. So by doing that, all of the impoverished households can be lifted out of poverty. And the second point is that we want to build the image of Horqin Right Middle Banner. That is to say, that we can produce organic and healthy cattle and beef from this region. So people from all around China can enjoy the high quality beef. So today you have here a lot of knowledge about the cattle raising and also the cattle, and Professor Ho is actually an expert in cattle raising. I believe in the future you are able to get some of the high quality meat from the Horqin Right Middle Banner. Actually, Professor Ho just talked about 3 areas: the government, the e-commerce, and also the platforms. And actually for the other 3 guests, they can provide more knowledge and they can give you some reference. So Mr. Guo, let's turn to you. As Professor Ho just mentioned that in the industry area, they want the government to provide more support. Can you give us more explanation and interpretation about the government policy? So as the professor just said that the Horqin Right Middle Banner locates in the heartland of the Horqin Corridor, so enjoys a unique geographical advantage. As Professor Ho just talked about the 3 advantages here to raise the cattle. So we are talking about the cost, about the feed. So in Horqin Right Banner, we have a unique advantage. That is to say, we have over 4.5 million hectares of grassland. So also we have a very good natural resources, the lucid waters and lush mountains. We have a lot of green resources here, which will be favorable to raise a healthy cattle. And the environmental protection is very important here because we want to raise organic and healthy cattle. As I have just talked about, we have over 4.5 million hectares of grassland. So this will provide unique advantages to raise the cattle. So of course we need some fund support and policy support from the government. In recent years, we are endeavored in the poverty alleviation. So most of our households, they are only around like 80 to 90 cattle. So it will lay a solid foundation for them to step out of the poverty. As the cattle raising is essential for the modern husbandry in this area, we will be more leveraging about the government policies. So we will look to a mid-term to long-term development of the cattle raising. So we would aim to raise over 270,000 cattle, but still we have a long way to go. So we need some support from some leading industries. You may notice that there were two companies that are coming from Shandong province. They're coming here to give some support to the local farmers and herdsmen. And also we want to encourage every one of the household to raise cattle. And we need some fund from the banking and the financial industry. I think this is quite necessary. So actually, the cattle industry is just a starting point for all of us. So first of all, people need to be lifted out of poverty, and later on they have to step into prosperity. That is a different concept. So, Mr. Zhang, from a banking or financial industry, can you give us some elaboration on that? So, we are the Bank of Agriculture. So, as you could see, we are pretty much focused on agriculture. We focus on the 3 rural issues and also the poverty alleviation. So the poverty alleviation is actually one of our missions. We have a very comprehensive institutional arrangement. We also have a poverty alleviation office to provide support to deal with the 3 rural issues. So the cattle raising industry is actually an advantageous industry in the Horqin Right Middle Banner. So we are raising cattle, horses, and also we produce pesticides. And for the ABC Bank, we also signed strategic contract with many financial institutions, and all of those measures will be supporting the rural revitalization. The loan credit is actually over 20 billion RMB for all of those projects and enterprises who is covered by the policy and the measures released by the government. We will give our full support. And for Professor Ho, he also mentioned the platform. So maybe Mr. Lai can give us some elaboration about the platform. For the national growth, in terms of the e-commerce platform, for some of the poverty alleviation products, so we would like to bring all of those products in our e-commerce platform. So this is the contribution from the national growth. So that is to say, national growth, shopping mall. Actually, we have a QR code here. If you want to visit the shopping mall, please follow the account. And also, Mr. Lai would like to recommend a second story of today. So what is the story? I will talk about a story, and the name is A Smiling Angel. Let's take a look. So I'm the storyteller, Hu Ming. Now I'm at the entrance of a primary school of the Horqin Right Middle Banner of Inner Mongolia. Please say hello to others. So what you're doing here? Actually, I'm visiting a child, and also you are bringing some of the gift. So maybe we should walk together, yes? So in the past, I found this problem. I visited some of the children here, and for this trial, he or she's condition is very difficult because both of her parents is out for work, and she is actually a leftover kid in the village. So you could see all of these children are quite cute. So you can see here are the gifts for you.
他也是到这幼儿园时间不长，
他其实现在去讲话还是
对，还是很。
He's not long in getting admitted for the kindergarten because of the uncommon disorder. It's very difficult for him to learn how to speak.
一共要做3次手术。
这个现在做了1次手术。
So actually, he has to take at least 3 surgeries to help him recover.
这2块钱主要是就是我。
And it costs his family around 20,000 RMB to do all of those surgeries. So we found these special cases and we report to my leaders. And the government attached great importance to the kid. And the national road, state road, actually covers some of the surgery fees for the kid. So he just completed the first surgery. In November, he's going to take the second surgery. Maybe it will help him to recover.
真的太棒了！当时啊，这个孩子做完手术以后，我们第一时间去探望他的时候啊，当时心里也是很。
So after the kid finished his first surgery, when we visited him, we have very complicated view. So the first sentence said by the kid is that, "Did I look good?" And I just felt quite mixed feelings, even though he's quite young, but he's with very good virtue. But because of the uncommon disorder, and for him, he felt reluctant to speak to others and felt reluctant to get along with other kids. He liked to stay at home and play with his dog. But after he finished the first surgery, I felt that this kid gets much better and started to play with other kids and becoming more optimistic about his life. And we will continue to follow up on his condition, and when necessary, we will help him with the second or the third surgery. So we will advocate others to donate, because I think in this period of time is the perfect timing for him to take the treatment, and it will not affect his livelihood in the future. And also with the renovation projects from the government, we could see his household has been renovated. And also we see a lot of funds that are coming out from the state road. And also with the 10,000 RMB the grant from the government, we could see his family also bought 4 cattle. And now we could see a big improvement for his life and his family. That we can tell the state bureau has taken the social responsibilities and provide a lot of support for those impoverished households. And also the state growth has also provided a lot of assistance in the electricity supply in the areas. So that is to say, we will ensure the access of electricity for all the households in the Horqin Right Middle Banner. So I'm just a regular ordinary worker, and I would like to visit as many as households so that we can find out some of the challenges from the villages, so that we will consider what kind of measures that we can take to help those people. And some of the senior officials, they will actually step into the community and also to talk to those people at their doorstep, so that they understand how to better help these people. So how many people in your team? We are a group of 5. So some of them are government officials and some of them are just workers from the state road. We have 2 people from the local government. Dear viewers, dear friends, this is stories I want to share. Let's stay tuned and follow their lives in the future. Thank you.
来书记，为什么您会推荐这样的故事？背后有着怎样的原因呢？和我们分享一下。
So, Mr. Lai, why you want to recommend this story? Please share with us. So this is one of the typical stories for the poverty alleviation that was supported by the state growth in Inner Mongolia. So we just talk about the story of a little boy. How can we help him to get rid of his shadows and become a smiling angel? For this kind of poverty alleviation work, we have continued to implement that on a day-to-day basis. We have over 78 officials who are working in the area of poverty alleviation, and they are helping out with 168 people. And also they are helping out with over 20,000 households out of poverty. And these people are actually responding to the call of poverty alleviation, and we are shouldering the responsibility as a state-owned company. You also mentioned a lot of statistics and a lot of details. I'm not sure whether you noticed that. They talk about poverty alleviation, officials, cadres, and the story we have just learned about is just a part of their work. And they have focused on 5 aspects. First of all, they have designated poverty alleviation officials. And these people are staying actually inside of the village to provide support to those impoverished households. Do you have more to add onto these stories, especially for those poverty alleviation officials who are staying in the village? For many officials, they actually taken a position in the village. For example, they're the party secretary of the village or deputy leader of the village. And the villagers are recognizing their work and consider themselves a part of them. Let's go back to the work of the state growth. So I would say the electricity is a key point for the state growth. So I believe all of you understand the importance of the electricity as an infrastructure in the Horqin Right Middle Banner. So let's move to another story. So as we talk about the economic development, electricity is the most important part. People cannot live without electricity. In the eastern side of Inner Mongolia, we are continue to develop our network of the state growth. In the Hingan League, we have been invested over 4 billion RMB to develop multi-layer electricity grid. That is to ensure the electricity supplied in those areas, especially for impoverished regions and the counties. It is difficult for them to get access to the electricity. For example, we will give them some exemption of the electricity fees. And also I realize another important step taken by the state growth. That is what we call the PV poverty alleviation. Can you tell us more about this PV poverty alleviation? So again, it is a national strategy for us. So we call it a sunshine poverty alleviation project. In the east of Inner Mongolia, we have connected over 18 PV stations and also 150 PV stations at the village level. So it will bring over 100 million revenue, benefiting over 5 million villages. So that is to say, by using the electricity, these people can make use of this advantage and create more wealth for them. And the fourth point, it is about the targeted poverty alleviation. In recent years, the state growth has made many investments to assist the poverty alleviation. So I believe you have allocated a designated fund for poverty alleviation. And also, we want to encourage the households to better leverage the fund to create the maximum efficiency. So the story we just heard about is that one of the officials from the state growth, he actually helped out one of the child to improve his livelihood. But how do you use the specialized fund for the poverty alleviation? I believe there may be more stories about that. So maybe you can share with us some of the highlights in using of the targeted poverty alleviation fund. To some impoverished households and individuals, we will invest directly. For example, we may build some specialized factories and farms or libraries. In Horqin, we also built a vegetable warm houses for the villages. So these are just some of the examples. So it feels like these are just small projects, but we are actually building the hardwares and also improving the softwares in those regions. So by doing all of that, we can help to improve the livelihood and also the way of living for all of those villages. So we are actually contributing to those regions and helping those people to make a change. So it is not just a change of the income and increase of the income. It may also help those people to change their mindset and to pursue happiness. We talk about a lot of things about the state growth, but I have to re-emphasize that the state growth shopping mall, this is actually an e-commerce platform. It also brings a lot of changes to those impoverished regions. So Mr. Lai, tell us more about the shopping mall of the state growth. So the State Road Shopping Mall is actually an e-commerce platform powered by State Road. We always use it internally, but we will also use that platform for poverty alleviation. So for this platform, it's covered over 16 provinces, including Inner Mongolia and Shanxi province. So as we just talked about the beef, the premium beef, you can actually purchase this kind of beef from the state-grown shopping mall, and also you will enjoy a very discounted price. So Mr. Guo, turn over to you. So as a government official, can you tell us more how you cooperate with the state growth for poverty alleviation? And Mr. Lai just recommended a story, an ordinary official from a state government. And actually it reflects the current situation, reflects the work that has been taken by the government for the poverty alleviation. For those officials, they're actually the backbone for the government, and these people have sacrificed their daily lives and also to help with those impoverished households. I always cherish these people's contribution in poverty alleviation. As I have just mentioned, from my side, we have over 800 government officials who are here to help with the poverty alleviation. I believe there were so many details. And what we see is just a little bit of all of those efforts. So we talk about the finance and also talk about government support and the e-commerce platform. So Mr. Zhang, as you're already here, you actually want to recommend another story, right? So you are actually working in the financial industry. So what is your story? So my story is about a female embroiderer. Let's take a look. Dear viewers, good afternoon. I'm the storyteller. So now I'm at the administrative village of the Horqin Right Middle Banner. So actually, each one of the household, we have one female embroiderer. So these people, they're living quite close with each other. Maybe it will help them to communicate with each other. So I would like to show you a story about one specific embroidery worker, a female embroiderer. Let's take a look.
王大姐你好。好，你好。谢谢。你们在
Good afternoon, Miss Wang.
能给我们介绍一下吗？
So I see you're quite busy here. Can you tell us what you're doing right now?
王大姐，我想问一下，您是哪一年被列入贫困户的呢？
Actually, we have a college student here, so we are communicating about how to make the embroidery. So you were an impoverished household, right? Back in 2016. My husband was suffered from a car accident and he was not able to work afterwards. But we have like 2 children, one son, one daughter. They need to go to school. One was at the college and the other one was in high school. So back in 2016, our household was listed as an impoverished household. But how do you deal with the tuition fees and also the clinical fees? At that time, I'm getting some loans from the Agricultural Bank of China. So I used that loan to support one of my child to go to the university and also cover some of the medical fees for my husband. At the past, we can get a loan of about like 30,000 RMB at a very low interest rate. And this year, one of my son graduated, and we continue to develop the husbandry industry. So now you're working in the area of embroidery sector. So what is your income right now? I work on my own, so it's very difficult for me to work on the farmland. So for each year, I can only gain around like 20,000 RMB per year. But now you are working in the embroidery as an embroidery worker, so what is the income right now? So just for the embroidery, so each year I can get around like 20,000 or 30,000 RMB per year. So that is to say you almost double your income after you get involved in the embroidery, right? Now I could see many pieces of artwork in your house. So can you give me some introduction about the pieces? Just take a look at this one. If we follow the guidance of the CPC, we will sure be lifted out of the poverty and step into prosperity. So now you could see a flower here, and the two flowers blooming, meaning that I have two kids and they all graduated from the college. So how long it takes you to do this embroidery work? It takes me around 3 days to complete the work. So can you give us some introduction about the poverty alleviation work? So I'm just like passing on some of the orders to Miss Wang. So how did you find Mr. Wang? So in the past we have a training workshop in an administrative village, and I get to know Miss Wang back in the training section. So what methods you were using to help those impoverished households? So we will offer all of the materials for free, and after they complete the work, we will pay them in cash. So what is the cost? What is the value for each one of the pieces? For example, this handkerchief, so the value is around like 20 RMB. So today I'm bringing more orders. For example, this one, if Miss Wang complete the job, so she could get paid for 500 RMB. So in this administrative village, I know it is actually a village for embroidery. Can you tell us more about the village? In our village, we have over 100 female embroiderers and a lot of embroidery workers who are living here. That's why this village is known as the village of embroidery. So this is the story about the female embroiderer. That is the story I want to share.
吃生态饭。
Hope in the future, Miss Wang and her peers can live a better life.
应该说呢，在今天的故事当中都有所体现。但是刚刚的
So we
刺
talk
绣
about
这两个字，应
tourism,
该说对于
cultural
太多人来讲
heritage,
太熟悉
and
不过了。
also
但更进一步
ecosystem.
又有着
We
怎
all
样的
cover
文化
all
内
of
涵
those
呢？我们首先还
areas.
是不请我
And
们
talking
的故
about
事
the
推荐人讲述
embroidery,
他推荐的原因。
many
我
of
们
you
先来
may
请
be
郭
very
局长为我们
familiar
大家
with
来
that.
介绍一下关于刺绣的更多的
So
文
I
化
would
内
like
涵，好吗？
to ask
郭
a
局长。
question for Mr. Guo. So maybe Mr. Guo, you can tell us more about the embroidery.
贫困户通过刺绣产业脱贫之路。
For the story, you could see one impoverished woman.
其实我们这个
She actually helped herself and her family to get rich
其实更是
through
我们文
embroidery.
化的一种传承。这个蒙古族刺绣呢，是我们这个蒙
Embroidery
古族
is actually part of the intangible cultural heritage
文化遗产，
in our
在
village.
整个社会上流传的比较广。其实我们所在这个王府这
The
个
Mongolia hand embroidery is an essential intangible cultural heritage
这个刺绣产业呢，应该是
because this kind of embroidery is originated from the palace and the court.
参与这个采
也就是
And
说，
through
如
the
果套用
embroidery,
现代
we
化的商
actually
业模
invite
式的
over
话，这种刺绣
20,000
是
people who
全
are
手工，
participating in the
而
work of
且
the
其中
embroidery.
渗透着大量的
Because
当地
all
的
of those
文化
embroidery
艺
are
术
made
遗产
in
包括
hand,
说大家对于世界的思
and
考方
also
式，
the
对于
piece
我
of
们环
work
境的一些观
reflected
察，
many
甚至对
cultural
于传统
elements.
文化的一些传承和沿袭，可能都在里面都会有。所以这样的刺绣。
And it will also pass on
但如
some
果
of
概
the
括起来，它体
interpretation
现
about the
的
culture
可
of
能
the
是
local
我们
village.
科右中旗，
So
甚至是
even
整个
though
内
it
蒙
is
古，
just
甚
a
至是整
piece
个
of
中
work,
华
but
的
it
刺
will
绣文化
reflect
的当中的
many
一些作用。
aspects,
可以这样
many
理解
culture in the
应该是这种
Horqin
刺绣
Right
才
Middle
把
Banner,
我们民族文化
the Inner
跟产业发
Mongolia,
展
or
进行
in
连接起来
China.
既传承了我们民族文化，又实现了产业发展。
So we actually closely link the
这个项目对我们下一步
cultural heritage together with the
所以张行
embroidery.
长，您推荐这个故事
So
的
it
原
will
因
also help to
到底
boost
是
the
因为什么？
tourism in the future. So what's the reason why you recommend this story, Mr. Zhang?
这个金融扶贫中，这个支持的一个典型的代表，有这个原来建达利卡贫困户，然后脱贫致富的一个典型代
Because
表。
we think the
这个
female embroidery is quite representative. It's a typical example for poverty alleviation. For these people, they're falling into poverty because of sickness, or some of the family members are being sick.
主导下，
That's why the government would like to provide some support for those people to help them getting out of the poverty as soon as
我们农
possible.
行呢以这个风险大，然后呢对支持这个农建达利卡贫困户。
So for the Agricultural Bank of China, we would like to offer more loans to help those people,
到从2013年开始到2017年末的
to help them to develop their own business.
累计
We started the loan project from 2013. With over 4 years, we have benefiting over 780 households. That is to say, if you provide the financial support, it will not only inject impetus for the embroidery industry, it can also help the local farmers to get access to loans.
又和这个创新了很多的模式，比方说18年、20
In 2018, we also want to strengthen our financial support to those impoverished households. So we are working with local cooperative, especially we want to target the female embroiders. So as the story just told us that the female embroider, she started to get a loan from 2016, and she got a loan of 30,000 RMB, and later on, she can get more loans to support her own business. So first of all, we will try to come up with the personnel from the internet, and also we will draw out a blueprint, a plan to target each one of the individuals, to find out their problems and offer grants and also offer loans to support these people. So later on, we will have a new project. Because you emphasize a lot of figures, can you explain to us? So we are talking about like 1,000 villages and 1,000 pairs, like hundreds of funds and hundreds of millions of supporters. So can you tell us more about this project? So for example, if we have 1,000 villages and 1,000 towns, we will assign more than 1,000 staff to work in every one of those villages to provide support. And also we would like to offer over 10 billion RMB for the fund. So I believe you must detach a great number of human resources to do the work. That's right. We have already dispatched over 300 teams covering 1,200 people to work in those villages. So these people are just like pioneers in the village, and they will talk to those households to understand what are their needs and try to offer a targeted poverty alleviation. So you talk about a lot of services. Can you tell us more about those services, especially for the financial service? So how can you ensure that these people, when they're getting out of poverty, that they will not fall back into poverty? So back in May this year, we have followed the guidance from the central government. We have been reflecting on ourselves to see some of the weakness in the poverty alleviation. We also conduct a lot of investigations. And also we found that there were not sufficient loans provided to the farmers in the villages. Then we're trying to find out the root causes. Then we think we do not have enough financial institutions who can support the farmers and the households. So how can you improve that situation? So we would like to take more innovative methods and also to build more service stops. For example, to build up more banks and or cooperative. It is not reasonable for us to add the number, to increase the number of banks immediately. That's why we would like to take use of the internet. So if the villagers, they can go online, they can get a loan from the bank. And for our officials, they can actually take a loan to the household of the villagers. We would like to take on more innovations. First, innovation on the technology. So we will focus on the internet technology and provide more loans to the households and the impoverished individuals. So for this kind of projects, it's just targeted to the impoverished household. We would like to build it to a national level. So this kind of service is open like 24 hours per day and 7 days per week. So it will offer more convenience and more dividend to the farmers and villagers who need a loan from the banks. Due to the time limits, it is very difficult for us to explain in details about all of those financial measures. But maybe you can follow closely on the development of the agriculture bank because they have more financial measures coming up. So Mr. Zhang, maybe you can share some of your points in terms of the policy perspective. So what kind of policies that can benefit the villages? So Mr. Zhang just talked about some measures to support the loans. For myself, I actually understand how difficult it is for the farmers to get a loan in the past. But now, if people are using internet, within minutes or hours, these people can get a loan immediately. And for the agricultural bank, we are launching the new projects called the credit village or the credit household. All of these new projects can bring more benefits to the villages. So if they have a sense of credit, it will be much better for us to interact directly with those villages. I believe there are many people who are sitting behind the scenes. For example, Mr. Lai and his colleagues, So for people who are helping us with the electricity supply, I believe when you're using electricity, you cannot feel whether it is important. But if you do not have electricity, then you will feel it is extremely difficult for us to carry on with our life. Because of their work, these people make us much easier in our lives. There are many people, many teachers, professors who are working at the front line. Because of their efforts, they're offering us a comfortable and convenient life. So now we are coming to the end of the live streaming. Maybe each one of you can use one sentence to extend your best wishes for the development of the Horqin Right Middle Banner. Just use one sentence. So welcome to the Horqin Right Middle Banner. The financial power, the Agricultural Bank of China will use our excellent services to support the development of the Right Middle Banner of Horqin. The state growth will take on more social responsibilities and support the poverty alleviation in China. With the instruction and guidance of the government and with the support of the e-commerce platform, Horqin Right Middle Banner will have a prosperous industry in cattle raising. I'm sure all of the beef from the Horqin Right Middle Banner can go to the tables of everyone of China. In the end, so we will focus on the poverty-stricken, the impoverished regions in these areas. We would like to lift all of those people out of the extreme poverty. So once again, welcome to the Horqin Right Middle Banner to experience the beautiful scenery here, and I hope every one of us can have a happy life as soon as possible. Please pay a visit here and share your happiness here. So this is